Hello, my name is Professor John Benjamin, and this is Game Design at West Virginia Wesleyan College. And today we're going to start the first in a series of Unreal Engine tutorials that'll walk us through an entire game from start to finish. All right, so let's begin. Let's open up Unreal Engine. All right, and we're going to pick a new game. And I think we'll do a third person. And this should all be configured. And then you can just give this project a name, and so I'm going to call mine JB First Game. You have your third person overview here. So we're going to just say File and save current as. So now it's going to default to third person example map, but I think let's call this JB Game Level 1. So this is level 1, and so I'm going to call it okie doke. And now let's go down to our content here, and there's JB Game Level 1. So that's our first level, and you can afterwards make other levels. Okay, the next thing we want to always do is create a folder for our content. So let's go right-click down here in the content browser and say New Folder, and we'll just call this My Content. You can call it whatever you want as long as it's intuitive and it makes sense. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is add some obstacles. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the floor here, and I'm going to replace it with some geometry. So I'm just going to drag a box out here. And let's make it 25 by 25. Okay, and we want to move it down so it's just below our character's feet. All right, now I'm going to zoom back up, and I want to create some different walls here. And I want them to be geometry as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just drag out another box right here. And I'm going to make this one 15 by 1, or by, how about 0.5 by 8. That looks nice. Yeah, nice wall there. That looks good. You can just kind of line it right up there. I'm going to put it right up against this little gizmo here. All right, and I'm just going to hold down my Alt key and just drag it over and put another one right over here. And oh, one last thing, this wall over here too. I want to put a door in there, so I'm just going to take one of these and just duplicate it and rotate it. Close enough. All right. And then I want to add a couple of doors over here. All right, so let's drag a subtract brush into here. Make a little doorway here by 1 by 4. Ooh, that's a big door. That's too big. 3. There we go, that's better. Okay, and then I'm just going to do the same thing over here. So I'm just going to Alt drag that over there. Great. Now we've got 2 doors entering into these 2 little side categories, or corridors. And then now over here, I can just take one of these. I'm going to duplicate it, so I might as well just grab that. And I'm just going to duplicate that fella. And I'm going to move it over here. And I'm going to make a pit that I want to avoid falling in. 7. Ooh, that's big. Maybe that's too big. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to set it so our character falls in the pit, then they die. All right, and then also over here we're going to create another obstacle. Let's just create some fire. All right, so if you want to go down to your starter content and particles, you can add some fire. Let's put it right there. And now to make the fire look a little more realistic, let's make it a little bigger. So I'm going to click my little lock there and make it 5 all around. So that's a nice big scary fire. And you can just go ahead and duplicate it a few times. And then, so it doesn't look too manufactured, let's go ahead and just change the direction of a few of these. Like that, and maybe like that. And then it'll look a little more natural instead of like 3 balls of fire. Let me turn that one. Maybe I'll turn that one this way. Yeah, that looks a little more random. Okay, great. Now nothing's going to happen if our character runs into either of these places. So we're going to have to add some volumes. We're going to add some volumes. All right, so let me add the first one here. This one is going to be a pain-causing volume. So when we touch it, it's going to cause us pain and cause us damage. So let's go ahead and look for the pain-causing volume. There it is. Just going to drag it right over the fire there and just make it wide enough to kind of cross that area. So when we walk through there, we're gonna feel some pain. And then over here, you can set the amount of damage and how much damage per second. I'm just going to leave it at 1 per 1. I'll give our character 10 health, and so 1 health per 1 second I think will work just fine. And then over here, we want a box trigger because we wanted to fill up this space. All right, let's fill up the space. Let's uncheck that. Make it 10. And you want to put it below the area here so we can kind of go perspective. All right, that fills up nicely. Great. Okay, so now we're going to just have to add some scripting to this to make it all work. Okay, so now let's link up our character to the trigger volume. All right, so we're going to go to our third person character here and just say edit third person, add a custom event node. And just say custom, add custom event. All right, and we're going to call this, or how about event game over? Excellent. Okay, and then we're just going to connect that to a quick game. Just like so. And that's all we need to do for our character. We'll just compile and save that. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to select the trigger box itself, like so, and then we're going to go and add a blueprint, a level blueprint. So we're going to come up here to blueprints and say open level blueprint, on actor, begin, overlap, cast to third person character, the name of our character. So we didn't change the name, so we're just going to keep it the way it came, third person character, like so. Great. And then we're going to link that to an event game over. There it is. All right, and then we got to look up our, link this up, other actor to object, and that will work now for our pit because we're just going to die. So we're just going to say compile and save. All right, let's just see how that works. Okay, so just hit play. And let's run over there and say, oh no, I fell in the pit. And, oh, now that, see, I might want to fix that. I just touched it and I started to fall. So let's move that down a little bit lower. Okay, that looks better. Now we are going to go work on our pain-causing volume over here. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to connect this pain-causing volume up to our character. All right, so we're going to go back to third-person character, open up the blueprint. The first thing we're going to need to do is create a health variable. So we're going to come over to variables, create a new variable called health. I'm going to change it to a float. All right, and we're going to drag that right out here. We're going to drag a get. All right, and then we're going to start with an event, any damage, right in there. And from there, we're going to drag out a do once. And this is the same setup that we had done in an earlier tutorial. From the health, we're going to get a float minus float. Okay. And we're going to hook up that damage to there. Easiest thing to do, right? I'm just going to do a set health. Okay, there's our set health. And we're going to bring this little float minus float up to there. To our branch is a true false node. The health, we're going to get a float less than equal to float and connect that to the branch right in there. All right, so from the true pin, we're going to connect that to an event game over, because if it's true, it's game over. And then from the false pin, we are going to connect that to a print string so we know how much damage we're losing. And from the print string, we're going to take a health and so put it right in there so that value will go ahead and be printed. So let's just go ahead and put in a little delay here. All right, and we're going to connect the print string to the delay and loop the delay all the way back to the reset, and that should do it. All right, so let's compile and save, and let's check that out. Play. If I walk through the fire, oh wait, I died immediately. Ugh, I know why. Okay, we got to go back and let's see the pain causing volume. All right, 1 and 1, but we didn't set my health. That's what we didn't do. Okay, so let's go back to third person character. Right when you set the health variable right here, you got it's set to 0. So I got to set it to 10. So I want 10 health. All right, then we're going to compile and save. That's why we got to test this, the iterative process. Okay, and play. And this should work a little better this time. Run through the fire. -1. -8. Minus another 1. And then we stay there. 6, 7, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Game over. Okay, so that's working. Okay, well, thanks for joining me. See you next time.